Well, hello to you and you and you, whatever part of the world you may be joining us from today. We say welcome to another edition of Transforming Lives One at a Time. The program comes to you every Saturday afternoon at 5:30, and on this platform we explore social issues, any and everything that affects the human experience. We talk about the many realities of life and find ways to best treat with them. And of course, we are coming to you from scenic Tobago in the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, today we will be talking about that drive to succeed as we navigate the roads in life. My guest today is no stranger to the cameras, as you will see shortly. Adanna Combie is a communication specialist with over 14 years experience. She's also a media personality, event MC, and most importantly, a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. With a master of arts in mass communications from London Metropolitan University, she brings both academic excellence and spiritual depth to her work. Adanna is a well-known host on the Tobago Updates morning show, where she engages audiences with thoughtful dialogue on social, political, and cultural issues. She also leads communication skills training workshops, empowering professionals and emerging leaders to communicate with clarity, confidence, and purpose. Adanna, welcome. It's a pleasure having you on Transforming Lives One at a Time.
Thank you so much for having me, and hello to all of your viewers out there in viewer land.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, today, and I'm so glad, today you are the interviewee, and I am going to get the opportunity to ask you any question that I want.
Sure, why not?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, Adanna, we are talking about that drive to succeed. But firstly, tell us a little bit about your early years growing up and what your experience was like, your childhood days and the likes. Let us know about Adanna.
A fun place to start, you know, when you think about your childhood growing up, being innocent and not really knowing who you are, just playing, trying to find your space, trying to make friends with people, trying to fit in. But my early childhood, it was like a normal one to me as far as I'm concerned. Like any other child, I grew up in a village. Many people might not know this. They only know me from Scarborough.
Yes.
But I grew up in the village of Bonaccord up until I was about 11 years old.
Oh.
And the village life to me, it was so amazing. Because, I mean, all the children from the village, they would come around in the yard and we would play. We had a mango tree.
Yes.
Adanna used to climb the mango tree, a Julie mango, my favorite mango. And, you know, it was just like an average child growing up. Primary school was absolutely awesome. I had friends in primary school. One thing about me, I love to talk. And so I could command a space from early on. So
wow.
Even in primary school, I will have, you know, drones
yes.
of people around me listening to me talking and with the dramatics and all of those things going on. So my childhood was good. I am the first of four, okay. But my last two siblings are significantly younger than I am. So I was almost an adult when they were born. So it was my brother and I growing up in that village. I went to Scarborough Methodist School, you know, hats off to my alma mater, Scarborough Methodist. And then I went to Scarborough Secondary School and then to Signal Hill Senior Comprehensive School. So I'm selling out my age there a little bit. But that's basically how it was. A simple life, an easy life, a life of a child, of an innocent child growing up in a community in Bonaccord and then moving to Scarborough and just living.
Right, okay. So when did you realize that you wanted to pursue the field you're currently in, and what propelled you in that direction?
I don't know if it is a realization or an actualization, because as I mentioned to you before, one thing about me, I love to talk, and I speak from a place of I really am confident, even if I don't know what I'm talking about. Right. I am so confident that I can convince you.
Okay.
And I learned very early on that I had that skill.
All right.
In fact, I didn't even know it was a skill. I just knew that was who I was. Very sassy, you know, could command the space, command the room, and I loved doing it. And I remember my mother reminded me actually a couple of years ago when we were talking about my career and my experiences. Yes. And she said to me, Do you remember when you were in primary school? I was in about standard 2. And back in the day, they would ask you to write essays. So you had to write an essay about whatever. And she said to me, when she saw the essay I wrote, at the end of it, I said, this is Adanna Combie for TTT News.
Wow.
And that was in standard 2. So you're talking about 7, 8 years of age, right? And back in the day, when I say TTT, I mean the old TTT. People with the late Jones, P. Madeira, Vaughan Salandi, John Victor, Errol Pilgrim. Those are the people I grew up on. And so I loved listening to the news. Oh my goodness. I love listening to people speak and the way they would pronounce the words. I loved reading the newspaper. My father, he used to buy the Sunday Mirror and the Bomb.
Yes, I remember those
two papers. And I used to read those papers. And I used to try to write in the way the people would write. Because he would always comment on, oh my God, this is brilliant reporting. And I was like, I could be a reporter.
Yes.
You know, and so I believe that's where it stemmed from, having a natural skill for it and then being exposed in that way.
Yes.
I kind of gravitated to it effortlessly. And then I grew up in the church in my teenage years and, you know, managing events. And we had a radio program in our church and I would do the voiceover. I would write the scripts. When we had plays in school, I'll always be a part of the plays and stuff like that. So it was always a part of me. And then when I became into my early adulthood, I was like, hang on a minute, let me put a handle on this. Let me put a title to this skill. And that is what kind of drove me to go and start my studies.
So it was always in you.
I believe, and I believe the same is for everybody.
Yes.
Whatever that thing is, it's already on the inside of you. And the faster you identify it is the easier. And for me, it was seamless.
Yes, because I was listening to, he was always in the media, Edison Carr. And I was listening to him some time ago. We were actually having a conversation. And he said, Deanna, in terms of reporting and these kinds of things, he said it's either you have it or you don't.
That's right. That's right.
That stuck with me.
That's right. That
stuck with me. So even at that tender age, you actually had that, and you were actually working it out.
Yes. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, I can give you this joke. It was in me so much that I didn't even realize. Standard 2 again. I went to, as I mentioned, Scarborough Methodist School. So it was a religious school, a denominational school. And every Thursday we'd do church. We'd have to go over to the church because it was right next to the school. And they will choose as students to read every Thursday. So somebody from the school had to read the Bible verses when we get to church. And there were 2 names that would call every Thursday to read, this one or that one, either one of the other. And I was annoyed because I'm like, why are those 2 names? When I look back at it now, their parents were they were local celebrities because back in the day they were actors, turn of the tide. The parents were into arts and culture, so they were already popular. So I'm like, is it that why it's easy to call their names? So one day when the teacher called on them to read, I was like, don't you know that the rest of us can read? I was sassy. I told you I was sassy. So I said, the rest of us can read. And the teacher was like, okay, I'm so sorry, Ms Combie. Do you want to read? And with my sassiness, I said no. I said no.
You said no?
I said, no, I don't want to read. But it was so in me that why can't you choose me or anybody else to read? Because reading was something I really loved to do. And in fact, some of my friends even call me a nerd because I would literally read. I'm sitting here and I'm reading your shirts.
Wow.
I would read anything. I would read anything.
Yes.
Because I love to read.
Wow. What is in you, you just have to bring it out at the right time.
That's right.
Well, you know, many times we look at a person who accomplished much with great admiration, and rightly so. And kudos to you and all that you would have been able to accomplish thus far. And I know you are continuing in that vein. But what we actually see, I would always tell persons, what we actually see is the end result. We don't see the times when you feel like, oh, I don't think I want to continue this, you know. I want to throw in what we call the proverbial towel. I definitely don't want to pursue this area because maybe the challenges or whatever. So I want us to talk about some of the challenges that you would have encountered and some of the strategies you use to overcome? Real talk, real talk.
Real talk. Let's get down to it.
Yes,
We have to get down to
yes.
it. The funny thing is I never wanted to throw in that towel.
Really?
I never, because I always knew that who I wanted to be and who I could show up as.
Okay.
You know, I always wanted to be that girl. Challenges, oh goodness, where do we start?
Yes.
Insurmountable challenges arose. From growing up in a village, coming from a poor family, I didn't even know we were poor until I got older.
Right.
You know, not having the resources, and
Yes.
for us people of color and from this part of the world to travel to England, where at the time when I went to study, it was 10 to 1. That was the exchange rate.
Yes.
10 TT dollars to 1 British pound, and it was not cheap.
Yes.
Right? I'm sure my mother is probably still paying off.
Yes,
loans,
of course.
you know. But the biggest problem for me was the finances. Not just not having the finances, but knowing that I came from a place that I just did not know how it was going to come.
Right.
And you know, in your mind, you're thinking, am I deserving of this?
Okay.
That was one of my major challenges. Do I really deserve this? In as much as I know this is who I am, this
Yes.
is who I was called to be, I have the skill, I have the talent, and I have to hone it. But do I really deserve this?
Wow.
Look at where I came from.
Yes.
Back in the day, we had outdoor toilets.
Right.
Right? So that's where I came from. People don't see all of those things in the background. They see, people call me a celebrity. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
What are you talking about? You know, and so for me, it was a mental block.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, there's no way a girl like you from a village like that, living in a house like that, who are you to think you could appear on the BBC?
Wow.
You know, so that was one of the major challenges. And then moving away from your comfort zone in terms of coming out of a warm Caribbean climate and going into a temperate climate. Into a space where you don't know anybody.
Right.
You see different races and cultures of people who have already made a life for themselves in this space, and you are coming in here now with your dialect from Tobago,
right?
And trying to sound polished.
Yes.
It really was challenging, you know. People laughed at me, and I tried so hard to speak like them, but I found myself speaking the way I know how to speak and how I like to speak, and it actually drew people to me. Where are you from?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you know, let's not forget about the racial slurs that I endured, because back then, it's more acceptable now, but back then it was awful. I had awful racial experiences while I was going to school, but I was like, you know what? There's something in me that you don't have, and that's what you're picking on. You know, so you have to talk to yourself. I spoke myself through it. I was like, listen to me. The reason why you're up there picking on you, because I wasn't the only black girl in the class, but I was being picked on the majority of the time, and by one of my lecturers.
Wow.
Yes. Every time I would submit or she would ask a question and I'm trying to, you know, respond, she would overlook me. She'd literally look over me because she was shorter than I am. And she would look over me to see if anybody else put their hands up. And I'm like, I kept talking to myself, Adanna, you came here for a specific purpose. You came here for a reason. There is something on the inside of you and we have to see it come out.
Yes.
And that is part of the thing that kept me as well. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give up. I have a little sister back home. She looks up to me. She loves me. She adores me. She cannot see me giving up.
Yes.
People who laughed at me when I was getting ready to leave Tobago, they cannot see me giving up.
Wow.
You know, I just could not give up. And I kept telling myself, you're not doing this for yourself. You're not doing this for you alone. While you want to see, you know, yourself achieve your goal and be that girl, there are other people who want to be something too. There are other people who are carrying stories that are heavier than yours.
Yes.
And they want to be. And so I just had to be, I had to rise up and I was like, listen to me, you got to do this, come what may. And so those are some of the strategies I implemented. Focus on the goal.
Yes.
Focus on the why. Why are you doing this? Focus on the who are you doing it for, and the what are you going to achieve by doing all of this. So those are the things I kind of implemented, and I kept talking to myself day after day. Affirmations.
Yes,
that is
so critical.
So important.
Critical.
Yeah, you know, so I used to tell myself, you can do this, you're amazing. I would look at the BBC every single day. I would listen to BBC Radio 1 every day. I would listen to the way they speak, they write stories. I would just listen to how people people present, and I'm like, look at me, oh
Yes.
my goodness. I would pretend that I had my own talk show.
Right.
All of these things I would do to keep myself going. You know, so in as much as the struggles and the challenges are there,
yes,
there are ways, there are things that you can do to get yourself out of the dark places of I want to give up, but I know I can't.
Right.
You know, there was one time that I was doing I probably shouldn't say this, but there was one time I was doing a project to submit, and I had like writer's block. I couldn't get anything out. Lady, I took my laptop and I sailed it across the room because I was so annoyed. Yes. And I started to cry because I'm thinking, what are you doing? You're in a strange place. Your mommy have to find you money to pay for you to go to school. You can't write this thing. What is happening with you? Wow. And I pulled myself together. I pulled myself together, and at the end of it, I was able to submit a beautiful piece.
Wow.
You know, so it really is about the focus and maintaining, you know, a clear mindset and meditating and reminding yourself of why you are doing this.
Of course. And I'm hearing that self-motivation, because remember, as you indicated, you are now in a strange land. It's not that you have this big amount of family or friends or any family or any friends at all. So you had to, like, as it were, rely on yourself, on those self-talks and keeping yourself motivated and keeping yourself viewing the prize. Okay, I'm working towards this and I just cannot give up until I reach my goal.
That's right.
And that is so, so very important, because you have so many persons now that are giving up because many times, and of course, you know, there are so many different situations that persons would face on a daily basis. It's not easy, and I'm not trying to trivialize it, you know, but at the end of the day, as you rightfully said, you have got to basically look yourself in the mirror and say, listen, you cannot give up.
That's right.
You cannot give up. Someone else is depending on you.
That's right, absolutely.
Wow. Well, I know for persons viewing this program today, especially younger persons, they are being challenged. They are being inspired. And the message is clear that wherever you originate from, you can excel as a success story and be that success story. It's not so much how you start, but it's how you finish. Just weigh in on that concept.
Absolutely, absolutely. And my success story isn't complete by any means at all. I'm still walking in my success. I still have to get there. And success is not a destination. And I'll speak directly to the camera.
Yes.
Success is not a destination. It is a journey, a continuous journey. After you have achieved one goal, there's another one, and another one, and another one. It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
Yes.
Look at where I came from. I told you my story. I came from, you can say, what we call nothing. Yeah. There was no backing in terms of financial backing. My parents are young parents, you know, and so it's like you don't really know how you're going to do this. It's like you don't have the resources to do this, but you know you have the grit.
Yes.
You want to do something. It's kind of like focusing on, you're in a position that you don't want to be in. But what you're going to do to get out of it.
Right.
Right? And so it pushes you. So it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your experiences are. You can bloom wherever you are planted. Yeah. Whatever situation, even if your situation is negative, you can find a way out of your situation and become the person that you were called to be. You can become the person who, you know, what is on the inside of you can come out. It does not matter of your environment. It does not matter. What you have to be aware of is who you are, and that's very important. Who you are is very important. You have to do some soul searching.
Yes.
You have to get pen and paper. You have to write things down. You have to decide. One thing for me, you see the Bible?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where you get to find out who you really are.
Of course.
And once you understand that, it helps you to realize, I could come from here and I could end up here.
Oh, yes.
You know, it does not matter my situation. The resources in the world are endless. Endless resources in the world. And I learned that when I went abroad. Yes, I know my parents, they were struggling to get the finances for me to go, but when I got there, I got help with this, I got help with, I met people who had things that I needed, and I linked up with them. So it doesn't matter what you have or you don't have. Once you want to achieve it, it is absolutely possible. Do not tell yourself, who am I? Where did I come from? What do I have? Baby girl or boy, you have it on the inside of you. That thing that you want to give to the world, they are waiting for for you. The world is waiting.
Yes.
The world is waiting for your magic. The world is waiting for the essence of you. So it doesn't matter your background, your challenges, you can overcome them. Put pen to paper and let's work on those goals.
I love that. And I'm hearing you speaking and you're saying success is a journey. And I'm seeing you motivational speaker, maybe?
Well, yes, call me. Come my number, put my number in the CG, put my number below.
Motivational speaker. But we're going to take a short break and we will be right back. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Storbay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Hi, I am Deanne, host of Transforming Lives One at a Time, and I would like to introduce you to our brand new segment, Good Vibes, Good News. And this is where you have the opportunity to highlight your good news. You can send your 90 seconds video to our WhatsApp number 868-701-2099. That's 868-701-2099. Let's hear some of the good news that we never hear about. Good vibes, good news. Inspiring hope. Celebrating wins. Truly grateful.
NSL School and Office Supplies for all your school uniforms, textbooks, stationery and craft supplies. Located obliquely opposite Stumpy's Bypass, Canaan. Also offering printing, photocopying and much more. Give them a call today, 615-6595-477-5905 or email them at nslbookstore@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the program. I am speaking with beautiful Adanna, and she's a communication specialist and media personnel. Well, Adanna, I didn't want to stop you, but I know we had to go to the break, but I'm actually seeing motivational speaker.
Yes,
so
yes.
We're going to have your number up on the CG.
Yes, definitely.
For sure. So whenever you have, whatever you have, you could link with Lady Adanna here, all right? She's going to... All right. Well, Adanna, I want you to give our viewers a little insight on what the journey has been like for you as a communication specialist and, of course, as a media personnel. Is it all glamorous, glitz and glamour, real talk?
Oh gosh, you want the real talk? Let me tell you. I can say yes and I can say no. It's glamorous.
Yes.
When you see the finished product,
right.
It's the glamour is there.
Yes.
Because you've worked on a product and now you can present it. But let me tell you about the background. Let me tell you what happens behind the scenes. And I will talk from the angle of a media personality.
Right.
Now, I host the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, and the program starts at 7 a.m., which means I have to be on set by 6:45 a.m.,
right.
which means I have to be in the makeup chair by at least 6 a.m. So
yes.
you see where I'm going
exactly.
here. So I have to get up before because you have to do your devotions, prepare yourself, have a cup of coffee, all
of
these things
course.
you have to do before. So waking up when everybody else is sleeping is a challenge. And sometimes when you hear the rain fall on the rooftop, you're like, oh my goodness, I just want to pull the blanket over. No, it's a sacrifice. You have to make that sacrifice. Additionally, I've interviewed politicians, I've interviewed religious leaders, I've interviewed educators. And so, of course, you have to do your research.
Yes.
So once, especially a high-profile guest will come into studio, you have to do your research. Not only on the topic, but on the individual.
Yes.
Because while they might be coming to talk about a specific topic, you still have to know about them.
Of course.
Because you have to know how to tailor your questions, when to ask the question. Should I drop this question depending on how the conversation goes? You have to feel it out. So you really have to immerse yourself into what you're doing, not just thinking, oh, I look so cute on the camera.
Right.
I mean, you want to look cute too,
of course.
Right? But you want to kind of make sure that you're doing the thing the way you're supposed to be doing it. the other part of it is that sometimes you might have the program before ahead of time, so you plan out your guest who's coming today. And for whatever reason, the guests are a no-show. Right. And it has happened.
Yes.
Right? And now, Lady Adanna, as you call me, has to sit in front of the camera because we have to give the audience a show. And more than the audience, our clients who have paid for ads.
Right.
The ads have to roll. And so you have to produce content. Yes. So here I am thrown in front of the camera and I have to speak to the camera for a full hour. I'm just talking. I'm talking. And I find the things to talk about because I told you in the interview that I love to talk.
Right.
I can literally talk on any topic, but it really is an immersive experience.
Yes.
It's not, oh my gosh, I get tickets to events and I get to go here and I'm hosting this and look at me, the camera is on me. It is a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of work and your appearance is important. I wear makeup 5 days a week. What is it doing to my skin? So I now have to invest in my skin. Of
course.
You have to, so it's not, it might look glamorous, but it's a sacrifice that you have to make to ensure that you show up and represent properly. In terms of being a communication specialist, this is the part I love.
Yes.
I mean, I love being on the camera, but in terms of interacting with people and ensuring that people understand that you can be an excellent communicator.
Yes.
You can speak well, you can present yourself well. And so as you're aware, I teach, I coach, I host workshops where I encourage people to speak properly, dress well, present yourself well, how to construct sentences, how to act socially.
Right.
And that is what I love.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The engagement with people and seeing that they have attained their goals when they come to the workshops. And I will talk, if you permit me, about a specific client I had. She was supposed to represent Trinidad and Tobago at the Miss World TNT a couple of years ago. I think it was 2010 or 11. I can't remember the year. And when I first met her agent reached out to me and he said, oh, this is our representative. And when I met the young lady, I'm like, what are you saying? That's how she was speaking.
Okay.
Right? You couldn't hear her voice.
Right.
There was no projection. And she was talking to me like this, beautiful girl, really gorgeous. And so the confidence to speak and express was not there. And I spent 6 weeks with that young lady. And the night of the competition, now she was one of 2 persons from Tobago representing us at the Miss World TNT in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
So she got through to the finals. On the night of the finals, her agent rang me about 11:58 p.m., screaming down the phone. And I was like, what's happening? What's happening? And he said to me, Adanna, and I'm talking about the finals, as the person to represent Trinidad and Tobago, wherever part of the world. He called me and he said to me, she is runner-up.
Oh my.
I said, what? She became runner-up. Wow. And he was so excited because he knew who he presented to me when he came. And had it, if the person who won could not make it for some reason,
it would have been her.
That is the girl who would have represented Trinidad and Tobago on an international stage for Miss World. Yes. Somebody I trained in my early years as a communication specialist. So I know that there's something on the inside of me that can help somebody else to achieve their goals. Yes. And that's why I'm so passionate about the things that I do.
Wow. You are actually living out this program. The name of this program. Transforming lives one at a time. One at a time. Well, I would like us to jump in a bit to the many hats that women wear. And of course, we multitask very well. I would always say on this program that men, they would give you the headlines, but the women, they will give you ball by ball commentary. They will give the details. And of course, I know that you are a mother, an entrepreneur, and of course, you are also a career woman and you are heavily involved in ministry. So just how do you create that crucial balance so that you're not overwhelmed and burnt out?
2 things. On my knees or wiping my eyes with tears.
Oh, wow.
It might sound funny and it might sound so cliche when you say we take it to the Lord in prayer, but I'm telling you, being so heavily involved in the church and really understanding my purpose and my calling and my role has drawn me closer to the place, the sacred place. Okay. And understanding that in myself I can do nothing.
Right.
I am like an empty paper bag just blowing all over the place. It took a while for me to understand who I truly am.
Yes.
And when I came to that place, I realized who I am is rooted in Christ.
Right.
The Word of God says that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So I have to depend on Him for the strength
Yes.
to do the things I am called to do. And with the strength, it will come, wisdom will come, instructions will come, directions will come. So when I go to God in prayer, it's like, listen, you gave me this to do.
Yes.
Because he is accountable to the things that He has called us to.
Of course.
I'm like, you asked me to do this,
Yes.
you put me in this group, and you asked this person to come to me. Of all the people in the world, they chose me because you sent them. So help me.
Yes.
I need your help. Sometimes I cry.
Yeah.
I cry. Come on.
We all do.
We all do. You know, but I really do find myself more focused when I meditate.
Okay.
When I journal, when I write things down. When I say this is what I want to achieve by a certain time, I don't always get there.
Right.
But it helps me to focus. It helps me to remember, like, listen, you're not just doing this because you feel to do it.
Okay.
There's an end goal.
Right.
You start something because you want to finish it, right?
Yes.
You know, sometimes we start things and we get fed up and tired and we throw in the towel, you start something else.
Yes, of course.
But when I journal things down and I set a deadline to these things, and when I have an accountability partner, I ask somebody,
Yes.
check in with me next week to see how
Right.
far I reach
Yes,
with this.
yes, yes.
And sometimes you kind of started screen calls, right? Because you don't want to hear from the person because you have not achieved the goal, but it helps.
It does.
It helps
It does.
because you know that call is coming. So you push yourself. And so I kind of prioritize things. Okay, so I am mother, I am entrepreneur, I am sister, I am friend, I am all of these things, and all of these people need from me. What do you need from yourself, Adanna?
Okay.
So find out from yourself, what do I need this week
Right.
to keep me going to be all that I need to be for all of these people? Because if I give them everything that I am, what's left for me?
Exactly.
So you find what you need first. Fill yourself
Yes,
first. Make sure
yes,
you have.
yes.
Because as they say, what? An empty cup cannot stand up.
Right.
You have to fill your
Yes,
cup first
yes,
and
yes.
give them from the overflow.
Definitely.
I don't ever overextend myself. If I realize that there's too much on my plate, I start saying, hang on a minute, give me a month, give me 2 months, give me
Okay.
another week, call me back, let me see what's going on here.
Right.
Because I have had burnout before. Burnout to the point where I did not want to see anybody.
Okay.
I used to have migraines. I had to stay in a dark room,
Wow.
no sound,
Yes.
and the air conditioning on so low that I'm like almost freezing in there, just to keep me calm.
Yes.
And I don't want to have those types of experiences again. And I realized it came from overloading myself with too
Yes,
much.
yes.
You know, in as much as you have the skill and the talent and the
Of
wherewithal to do these
course.
things, it doesn't mean you have to do them all. So you have to kind of figure out what is important now and work with that and put the other things on the back burner. Do it on a kind of rotation basis.
Of course,
A
of
kind
course,
rotation basis
understood.
to balance
Yes.
everything.
And it's okay to say no.
Yes.
You see that two-letter word? Many times we think, oh my gosh, I would feel so bad. And this person is my really good friend. And this pastor called me. And this, listen, sometimes you have to say no.
That's right.
Not because you want to, but because you don't want to feel this overwhelming feeling. And as you rightfully said, being in that position, you don't ever want to be in that position. I was listening to something recently by the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe, and he was saying, you need to take care of yourself first. And he was using the analogy of when you're on an aircraft, and if something is to go wrong, they would tell you put on your mask first before you tend to anyone else in your care. Because the reality is, if you don't take care of yourself, then you are not in a position to take care of anything else and anyone else. And for me, I felt that was so profound. It was so profound. So we have got to do that.
Absolutely.
And sometimes just say no.
And no is a full sentence. And I tell
Yes.
people no is a full sentence. You don't need to explain to anybody why you're saying no.
Yes.
No. Can you do this for me? No.
No.
Sorry, no.
Just no.
No.
You just
no.
can't manage.
No.
No.
And that's enough.
So no is good.
That's right.
No is a good word. Well, we cannot speak about balance and not touch on the importance of having a robust support system. So what does that support system look like for you?
And I'm telling you, it is needed.
Yeah.
There is no way you can achieve anything worthwhile without making sacrifices.
Right.
And for you to make those sacrifices, somebody has to pick up the slack for you.
Yeah.
Right? Because there will be times I might have to teach a workshop, and my son is in my care. So I might have to call on granny.
Yes.
Or I might have to call on somebody to help me.
Of course.
So you definitely do need that system.
Yes.
Because you will not be able to show up in your full essence if it's just you doing everything all by yourself.
Yes.
If you look at a PC, and this analogy is now dropping into my spirit, if you look at a PC, long time we used to have this big desktop,
huge.
right? And so
Yes.
that PC is doing everything. Even your laptop now, when you realize you have all your tabs open after a while, your laptop probably when you're sleeping just restarts. It restarts itself.
Right.
It shuts down and then boots up again because it's overloaded.
Yes.
And I need a break. So rest me.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with life.
Yes.
You need to have people around you who will, one, hold you accountable for the things that you've promised to do.
Yes.
Two, support you in the goals that you have set. I remember when I was leaving to go to England, my father, he said to me, I know what by the time you come back here, you're going to be a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire yet, but that was encouragement. That's part of my support. And I
Yes.
still have that in the back of my head. This is something I still need to work towards.
Right.
So that, you have to have the people there who are going to speak life into you.
Yes.
They have to speak life. And they have to speak death to the things that you are doubting about yourself.
Right.
Girl, look at what you achieved. I look at myself as an average normal person. And when I'm having conversations with people and they tell me things, I'm like, please, I can't do that. Girl, look at what you've achieved. Things that I had
Yes.
forgotten.
Yes.
I did. They bring it back. You remember when you did this? And you remember when you did that? And it kind of encourages you.
Of
So you
course.
need the pool of people around you. My parents, one of my aunts who resides in England, I stayed with her when I went to school there. She's also a part of my community. I have a community at church,
Right.
My siblings, my siblings,
Yes.
they are darlings. They are darlings. When they look at this program,
Yes.
they call me the cry baby, but I'm sure you guys are gonna cry. So that support system is absolutely necessary. You have to have it, and you want people who genuinely love you.
Yeah.
People who are not competing with you. Because I've had experiences where I thought I was in a friendship relationship with people. They are my friends.
Yes,
that's
of
my
course.
girls, and
Yes.
But you would realize that there was some measure of competition.
That's right.
You don't want that in your space.
That's right.
You don't want to live in isolation, but you don't want somebody who is working against your goal.
Exactly.
Or every goal you set, they want to have the exact goal and competing with you to
Right.
get there. That's not what friendship is. You want to have a place where you feel relaxed to be yourself, that you can
Yes.
tell people your goals, tell them your dreams,
Yes.
and they on board, they understand with you. Even if they don't understand, they're willing to have the conversation,
Of course.
to help you and support you through it. So for me, that is very important. And I can see that in the people who are around me, my parents, my siblings, my auntie, the church, I
Yes.
could see that around me. And so everybody who is out there pursuing a goal, you need to have that as well.
Yes, that is so very important because, sometimes we tend to take the standpoint that I could do this by myself, man. But we all need help. No man is an island. We always hear that.
Yes.
But sometimes I don't think that we internalize that to understand exactly what it means. No man is an island mean that you always need someone else to help.
That's right.
Because you just picture yourself, you alone, okay? Just
Running
picture
up and
yourself.
down, drop the child to school, run to do a workshop somewhere, host an event somewhere.
Nobody
and then
you
running,
could call.
oh my goodness, I need to wrap up this conversation
Right.
now because I have to go back for the child. And I have to...
Nobody that you can call to say,
No.
listen,
It
I
will
have a little situation.
help
Could you
me
give me
out.
an hour? I need some help. And that's another thing, because many times we find it hard to ask persons for help. Especially, we have this kind of independent mentality. I'm accustomed doing my thing by myself. I'm accustomed, I don't want anybody to know my business, that kind of thing. But it
speak to
backfires.
that? Can I speak to that?
Please.
I really want to speak to that, and I'm happy you brought that in. I'm going back to the Bible because that's who I am. The Word of God says that God resists the proud,
Yes.
and that is pride.
It
I
is.
can, me,
Right.
me. And you cannot. You cannot. In fact, the Bible also speaks about a man needing friends.
Yes.
Ecclesiastes talks about how can one, we need each other. What if one lies alone?
Right.
You'll be cold,
Of
right?
course.
So you need people. You cannot live in isolation. And you cannot say, I, me. That is pride, and we need to break it down. We all need help. We all are short somewhere.
Yes.
There's no perfect man. The only perfect man who walked this earth is no longer here. Right?
Correct.
And so we need to remember that what I am short in, you have it.
Of
and I have to come to you.
Yes.
Whether I am haughty or not, how am I going to get it if I don't come to
Right.
you? So it's best you boil down like Baji.
Of course.
Right? And approach the person who has what you need. So you really need to have that community.
Yes.
You need it. Yeah.
That is very, very important. I like that, boil down like Baji. And for those of you who are viewing from abroad, boil down like Baji just mean that you just humble yourself. Right?
simmer down.
You just simmer down. Well, as it relates to entrepreneurship, you have been transforming lives significantly, and you shared that experience with the representative, the Trinidad and Tobago representative, and you have been training individuals to execute to the best of their ability, ensuring the diction is right and the tonality and the color and everything lines up. Just give us an idea about some of your workshops and courses that you cater to, and some of the ways, well, you have already shared some of the ways that you're impacting life. Oh, yeah, well, please.
Yes. Well, yes, as you mentioned before, I am a communication specialist, and it is my passion to see people show up as their best selves. And communication is the foundation on which human beings interact. We can't live without communicating. All living things communicate.
Yes.
If you have a plant and the plant is thirsty, it is going to tell you, you need to water me.
By the way, I need to water my plants.
You see? You see?
Thank you.
Right? All living things communicate, and we have to be able to communicate effectively.
Yes.
That is what is important, because you might be thinking to yourself, I'm communicating to this person that I want X, Y, Z, but your message isn't clear enough, and so it gets lost in translation. They might give you X and Y and Z is missing.
Right.
How do you communicate to them exactly what you want is what I focus on.
Okay.
How do you get people to see you the way you want to be seen? How do you get them to respond to you in the way that you want to be responded to? So clarity in speech,
Right.
presentation skills, public speaking skills, basic communication skills, interviewing skills, writing skills, showing up socially, social graces. All of these are things that I train people on during my workshops. I have online workshops.
Right.
I have one-on-one workshops where I do client to clients. And I also have group training sessions. So it differs depending on the need of the client.
Right.
So for instance, I'm currently working with politicians, and I am working with an insurance agent, so somebody in sales. And those are individuals. So they will come to me, we do an assessment, we have a conversation, so I
Right.
see where you are.
Yes.
And I am able to assess what your needs will be, and I work out for you a lesson plan. So this is what we're going to do.
Okay.
Right? And we could spread it out over, let's say, 4 lessons, 5 lessons, and at the 5th lesson we'll assess again, see where you are, see if you need additional training. So that's how I do that. For group sessions, however, it will just be like one session.
Okay.
Let's say like a church or a school or somebody, and we want to learn how to presentation or how to do an interview on a set. So we have, it's kind of like an interactive workshop. So we'll go through it for like about 3 hours, and you have practical sessions. And I'm telling you, I have seen people move from being so shy to standing. In fact, one of my clients was like, Miss, don't you remember me?
Oh,
and
wow.
the way she says
Yes.
it, because traditionally you will say, you don't remember me,
Yeah.
in our dialect. And she
Yes.
said, Miss, don't you remember me? And I was so proud.
Yes.
Don't you remember me?
Yes.
In fact, one of my colleagues, I remember training her for a pageant as well. And she's sitting now as a media personality.
Wow.
And she tells our colleagues, yes, Ms Combie trained me
Yes.
when I was going, and I learned this and I remember well. And, so I can see the transformation that is coming from the lives of
Yes.
people. I see the way, even the way you walk
Yes.
is so important. The way you sit, the way
Yes.
you can't slouch, but
Yes,
be
yes,
confident.
yes.
Because I've been sitting like this, but you can feel my confidence,
Right, of course,
right?
of course.
And the way you posture yourself, the way you dress is so
Yes.
important. Let's not take it for granted.
Yes.
People look good.
Of
Good.
course.
And so those are some of the courses that I teach, and there's more coming out.
All right.
The most popular one at the moment is, and I think you guys should sign up for this one, frequently misuse the words and phrases.
Oh yes, I saw that. I saw that.
You
but
know?
what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a short break again, and we'll be right back. We'll continue just after the break. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Hi, I am Deanne, host of Transforming Lives One at a Time, and I would like to introduce you to our brand new segment, Good Vibes, Good News. And this is where you have the opportunity to highlight your good news. You can send your 90 seconds video to our WhatsApp number 868-701-2099. That's 868-701-2099. Let's hear some of the good news that we never hear about. Good vibes, good news. Inspiring hope. Celebrating wins. Truly grateful.
NSL School and Office Supplies for all your school uniforms, textbooks, stationery and craft supplies. Located obliquely opposite Stumpy's Bypass Canaan. Also offering printing, photocopying and much more. Give them a call today, 615-6595-477-5905 or email them at nslbookstore@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the program. Just before the break, we were talking about the courses that Lady Adanna provides, and we were talking about frequently misused
words and phrases.
Right. So tell us about that course.
Right. So the full name of the course is Frequently Misused Words and Phrases, How to Use Them Correctly and What They Actually Mean.
Okay.
Right? Because sometimes we use words and we use phrases by adding extra words into the phrases for it to sound loud and probably intelligent, but it ends up meaning something absolutely different.
Okay.
So what we intended for it to mean.
Gotcha.
Right? For instance, one of a very popular one is, I could care less.
Okay.
What you're trying to say is, I couldn't
Exactly.
care less. Because saying I could care less means that you still care.
Of course.
Right? It means that you care. So if you really want to hit somebody hard, tell them I couldn't care less.
Correct.
And there are words that we use and phrases like, you would have seen me say this on the media. And as they're going on, and I'm like, okay. But what it actually, when you say you would have seen,
right,
the conjunction but is supposed to come in.
Okay.
Because when you say would have, it means it did not happen.
Okay.
But people use it to say it happened.
Right.
You would have seen us saying so and so yesterday, and they're going on. But it's incorrect. You're not supposed to say would have seen.
Right.
You could say you saw us.
Okay.
Right? If you say would have, it means it did not happen. It was supposed to happen.
Okay.
But it did not happen for whatever reason. So that's why we put in the but to say, but there was rainfall that stopped this from happening.
Yes,
you know?
yes, yes.
So those are some of the things people do.
And overlook.
And they say it in public spaces. They will go on a platform with a mic, and I'm talking about educated people will be going and speaking in these types of ways. And, you know, they're using words out of context.
Right.
They're using words like, you know the it's, right? The IT apostrophe S and the ITS.
Yes, yes.
And you see when they send it, whether it's in text or in, typed word, and you're like, we need to fix this.
Right.
Yes, we can speak dialect, and I love it. I love the Tobago dialect. It is amazing. It's beautiful. But when we're doing business, Let's do it the correct
yes.
way. And so I have identified that people really just go to town and speak in any kind of old way, and nobody corrects them. And I thought, why not? Let me help some people here. Not insulting anybody in any way.
Yes, of
but
course.
let me help out a situation here. And that workshop is usually fully subscribed every time I advertise it.
Wow.
And so I'm hoping, that you guys will jump on as
Of
well.
course. Well, give us the information.
It's very, very interesting. The discourse is not just me telling you, don't say this, don't say that. It's an interactive type of session.
Understood.
Where people, I even ask my clients, tell me some of the phrases you've heard that sound off to you, and we'll go through it together.
Okay.
So, that's basically how that workshop is. But there's so many other workshops that we go into, and we get into all of my workshops.
Right.
Every single session is interactive.
Well, as we're talking about that, just give us whether your website, your email address, phone contact, so persons can be able to connect with you.
Of course, my telephone contact is 1-868-797-9797, and no, that is not a hoax. That is my number, 1-868-797-9797. My email address is ancommunicationstt@gmail.com, so you can get more information there. That's ancommunicationstt@gmail.com, and we could go through the workshops. If you're looking for somebody to help you with the way you speak, the way you present yourselves, you want to apply for a promotion in work and you don't know what to do, I'm your girl. I can help you with that as well.
Very good. Very happy to hear that. Well, Adanna, I know in your capacity as a media personality that you have seen and continue to see firsthand just how much we are in a crisis in this, well, I should say a global crisis, because when we look all over the world as to the things that are happening, we are indeed in a global crisis. And as we see the erosion of the very fabric of our society, and of course finding oneself on the wrong side of the law, so to speak, how it affects lives, how it affects families and that kind of thing. I just wanted to speak on that, the kind of far-reaching effects. Speak on that.
Well, first of all, I want to address or speak to the fact that, yes, our social fabric is wearing thin. And as you mentioned, it's globally. What is the cause for it is the thing that I ask, because sometimes we see, and even when I interview persons on the program, they tend to deal with the solution. But you can't really come to a solution without knowing what the cause is.
The root.
What is the cause? What is causing this to happen? And unless you treat that, you will always be put in a plaster.
And a sore.
That's right. So let's deal with the sore and save the money for the plaster for something else.
Yes.
Right? And for me, my own, now I am not representing anybody here in my opinion. I believe it's because we have taken Jesus Christ out of the school system, and we've no longer made it mandatory for children. And I know some people don't believe in God, they believe in all other types of things, but having that divine presence,
yes,
or having reverence for that divine presence is no longer required in the school system. In the homes, you see parents and grandparents are now younger.
Yes.
Right? So you're seeing now whereas I grew up with my grandparents, because by the time my parents started working, they were retired and they were home, so they could have taken care of us. We see the parents working and the grandparents are still working, and then the children, there is the support system, the community is not there to bring up the child. The way you and I were brought up, we're not seeing that in our society anymore. There's no way I could walk down the street and not say good morning to somebody and I get clout behind my head.
Exactly.
Right?
By the time you reach home.
And once your parents know that, you're getting a hiding when you get home. Somebody drawing a belt for you. I remember when I was going to secondary school, I was in 5th form. I will never forget this situation. I went home from school one afternoon and my mother drew a belt and she started to offload some licks on me. I know we're talking to an international audience,
that's right.
but that's how we discipline in the Caribbean. And I got a good cocktail, as you would call it. And I did not know what for. Later, when everything simmered down, she said, I heard you were in school talking to boys. So I got licks for that, right?
Yes.
But I was so afraid of my mother because she was so strict. My mother was so very strict. And while I was angry growing up, because thinking, why is she so strict? I understand now.
Yes.
When I did my investigation, it was somebody who looked like me was talking to this boy. But the fact that it came home to her that the possibility of it being me, I would get the discipline. So I wouldn't even try it. You know, and now children no longer have that type of respect for their parents.
Yes.
When the parents are going up to the school and they want to curse out the teacher for the child, they're not doing the investigations to see, well, I need to discipline my child when I get home. Don't talk to my child like that. And you know, you have all of these things happening in our society. And the law itself is so archaic, you can't really deal with things in the way you want to deal with them. And sometimes you hear the frustration of the TTPS, for instance. You hear their frustration because there are certain things they want to do, but the law will prohibit them.
Their hands are tied.
Yeah, you know, and so, and not that the young people don't know, they know.
Yeah.
They know that they know the law to the T.
Of course.
And so they abuse the positions that they are in, and that is why we have our society looking the way it looks.
Yes.
And so now what it calls for is the people who still believe in community efforts, who still believes that it takes a village to raise a child,
yes, of course,
to come forward and raise that child. But will the child now, because the child is already formed those habits, is the child able to submit to the authority of the village? Can the village really reach the child? Are the parents going to allow the village to reach the child?
Right.
Do the parents even know who they are as individuals? What have they been telling this child? Don't let nobody tell you nothing.
Yes.
Don't let nobody talk to you. If anybody think, come and tell me. And these are the things that we are struggling with in our society. And we really need to get back to brass tacks. Who are we as a people? Our foreparents fought tooth and nail for us to get a level of freedom to do certain things, and we are now abusing it. And now the only way we can hear or understand is if somebody's beating us with a whip.
Yes.
And it's heartbreaking to see that that is where we are as a society.
Definitely. And even as you spoke about that, bringing back that community spirit, because when we think about words like empathy and love and care and consideration, I mean, when we were growing up, it's like persons were looking out for each other, neighbors were looking out. If there was a senior citizen on the street, they would say, okay, go and do this for Mr. Tom. He wants to get some water down the road. He needs to get something by the shop. You know, that kind of thing. And we need more of that. Yes, it is. Yes, we are in an evolving society and that kind of thing. But love, things like love and consideration and kindness and these things, we definitely have to reignite it within ourselves so that we can be able to share it and to spread. And of course, to instill them into our children.
That's right.
Because remember, we are training another generation. And sometimes I think we don't get that, you know. I think we take that really, really slight. But as we begin to bring the curtains down, I want us to touch quickly on the importance of having our seniors teaching our younger ones, sharing that vast wealth of knowledge, our senior men teaching the younger men, and of course the senior women teaching the younger women. And
it is so important because it's like a relay. You need to hand over the baton.
Precisely.
Right? And so the younger generation think that they're running this race by themselves. It's a 100-meter dash. Sweetheart, it's not. It's a long distance race you're running here, right? It's for the long haul. And as you said earlier, you said that sometimes we think that it ends with us. It doesn't end with us.
Yeah.
Even when I depart, things are going to continue. And we have to think about the continuation of it. The older generation, yes, they are different and they are old style, but they have some principles that we need to carry on for generations. I remember as a young girl growing up, when we moved from Bonaccord to the town, I had to be inside by 6 p.m. and the girls in the area, they used to laugh at me.
Yes.
She had to go inside, she might make a beat cheap. My mother would give me a good cocktail if I did not get inside. And those things kind of helped me to be who I am today.
Yes.
And so we need to go back to the principles of the things the older persons taught us. Be respectful.
Yes.
They have experiences that we do not have yet. And while we have to have our own experiences and make our own mistakes, their stories and the advice they will give us will help us when we go through the difficult times that we are going through in life.
Of course.
And so you hear young people say, leave me, let me live my life. But I don't mind you living your life, but listen to what I have to say, honey. I've been here before you. I've seen this happening before, and I can see how it is going to end. And so that is why it's so important for us to hold on to our grandparents, our great-grandparents. It's so important for us to hold on to the things they taught us, for us to pass it on to our children, as much as it's probably diluted, but still hold on to the values and the principles that we were taught growing up. Because I'm telling you, the world is not getting kinder. It's not getting nicer. And so you want to be able to show up. You want to be kind and you want to be nice and see how best you can change the environment that you are in.
Of course. Well, I would like you to take the opportunity as we wrap up to speak to someone today who have probably been experiencing some challenges with, you know, probably they made detrimental decisions. And of course, you know, it's a ripple effect. Once you made decisions, or bad decisions or poor decisions, you would have an expected end, which is not good, right? So just address this individual and probably just give them a word of encouragement.
You are not too far gone. You're not too far gone. I mean, I know people make mistakes. You make decisions based on, it could be peer pressure, it could be trying to compete with somebody, it could be not understanding your value and your worth. It could be, you could have done all kind of craziness in this world, but you're not too far gone. You need to sit with yourself, as I mentioned earlier in the conversation, and find out, what do I really want to achieve from life? When I'm no longer here, what do I want them to say about me? How about we start there? What do I want them to say about me when I'm no longer here? Pick yourself up. It will take work. You have to put in the work. Nothing is by magic. There's no one that goes abracadabra and things change. Because I'm telling you, if that was the case, your girl would have already been rolling in that $1 million my father told me about. You know, you have to put in the work. You have to pick yourself up and tell yourself, I am worth the effort. I am worth the second chance. I am worth the opportunity that is ahead of me, and I can do it. I can do it because people are expecting me. The fact that people can see something in you means that it's already in you. And so you have to show up in that way, and you have to represent yourself.
Of course.
How about I explore what people are seeing on the inside of me? What if? Let your what if be what if it works rather than what if it doesn't work. So let your what if be on the positive side of the what ifs.
I love
and
that.
Go for gold.
I love that. Well, Adanna, the pleasure was mine today. Indeed, you have been transforming lives one at a time in your own sphere of influence. And this, of course, should be the goal for all of us. You know, that we continue to effect change in our homes, in our communities, and of course, the nations of the world. So I want to thank you for spending this time with us today. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors as you continue to play your part in fulfilling your purpose and your mandate. So thank you again.
And thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Well, viewers, I am certain that information shared here today would definitely have been valuable, and you would be motivated and inspired to become the best version of yourself. Remember, it's not where you start, but rather how you finish. You can feel free to subscribe, like, comment on all our social media platforms. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, TikTok. I am your friendly host, Diane, always happy to be in your company. As usual, I leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time.